Hi guys, so today we're going to be learning about how to graph using vertex form and the transformations of a quadratic relation. So we're going to first off starting how to graph with vertex form. So the equation that we're going to pick up is going to be C and D. So first let's write down our C. So y equals x plus 2 bracket plus 5. Now, what is information that's given to us knowing that our vertex form is this? What is given to us? The only thing that we can right now see is our vertex and our axis of symmetry. So let's write that down. So our vertex would be -2 and +5. Our axis of symmetry would be -2. And what else can we find in this? Do we have an A value? No, but is there a negative? No. So the direction of opening will be up. So that's all that's given to us knowing that equation. Now, how do we graph this? Well, we use a table of value. Now, we know that our basic table of value for x and y for y equals x squared, which is our basic parabola, is -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, and over here it's 4, 1, 0, 1, 4. Now, how do we make this table of values for this equation? Well, we plug everything in. So, due to our vertex being -2, we will take our x, because our vertex, the x value is -2, we will subtract it. So take away -2. So -2 take away -2 will give us -4. Then we will do the same thing, -1 take away -3, then -2, then -1, then 0. Now that we have our x value, how do we get our y value? Well, we plug our y values and we add whatever we have given. We don't have an a value, so we will just go to our y, which is +5. So you would do 4 plus 5, which gives us 9. Then we do 1 plus 5, which will give us 6. And we would do 0 plus 5, which gives us 5. Then we would do 1. And we all know that a parabola is equal as, so it would be the same. Now, if you want to see if this is your right tables of value, you can always go to the middle. So this is our middle. And out of this is our middle. And see if the values are our vertex. So our vertex is -2 and +5. Now see in this table of value, is our x a negative? Yes, it is. Is our y a 5? Yes, it is. So now you can tell that this is the right table of value. Now we can go on and graph. Graphing is really easy once you know where your tables of value is going to be. So you would first plot your vertex, which would look something like this. So our vertex is again -2 and +5. So how do we plot this? So we will find a -2 and our y will be +5. So we do this. And we found our vertex. Now we know that the parabola is going to be pointing up, so we can start moving up. Now we find our table of values and we do when x is -4, y is +5. So, +9. So you find your -4 on your x-axis, and then you move to your 9. And then you would do -3 will be 6. Now there, half of our parabola is already done. Now we move on. -2 and +5 we've already done, which is our vertex. Then you keep going. -1 and +6. So -1 and +6 would look a little bit like this. Then when x is 0, we find our 9. And you draw your thing. That was a very bad circle. It's a very bad curve drawing, but oh well. And then we know that this is our equation graphed. Not so bad, right? Now we're going to do one more just to make it a little bit more clear. So our next one we're going to be picking up is going to be D. So our equation for D is y equals x plus 5 squared take away 3. So what can we already tell that's given to us in here? So let's find our vertex first. So our vertex would be -5 and -3. What would be our axis of symmetry? So if that is our thing, then our axis of symmetry would be -5. Direction of opening would be upward, because we are not given a value but there is no negative, so it would be upward, and that's all that's given. Now let's plot our table of value. So our normal table of value, whoops, wrong side. So our normal table of value would look something like this. And now we need to make our other table of value. Now again, remember our vertex is -5, so we would subtract -5 from the x-axis to get our x here. So -2 take away -5 would give us -2, and you would do it so on. Sorry, I did that the wrong way. So sorry, -2 subtract -5 would give us -7. -1 subtract -5 would give us this, and then so on. Complete your chart for x-axis. Now we find our y. Now we plug in our y, and whatever we have in our equation, we will plug, because there's nothing here, we move on to our y. So 4, subtract 3 this time. 1, subtract 3, 0, subtract 3, 1, subtract 3, 4, subtract 3. Now this would be 1, -2, -3, -2, and +1. Sorry about that. Now again, to check, you can find your middle and see if it matches your vertex, which is this. Is our xy is -5, and is our x -3? Yes, so this is the right table of value. And then again, you basically plot. So when your x is -5 and your y is -3, that is our vertex. Woohoo! So we got that part done. Now we go on. So -7 and +1. So when your x is -7, your y is +1. So you plot it there. Then you would move on. When your x is -6, your y is -2. So -6 and -2 would be right there. Then you would move on. We already have our vertex done, so -4 and -2. -4 and -2 would be right there. Then you would do -2 and 1 for your last. -2 and 1. And there you have your parabola. Now that's how you graph using vertex form. Now we're going to be describing the transformations. How parabolas are transferred, basically. So we are going to be using the equation of y equals 2x take away 3 squared take away 4. Now, how are we going to describe this and how it was for like what its transformations are? So we know if your a is more than 1, it will be a stretch. So we can write that. It will be a vertically stretched by a factor of 2, because if you look at our graph that we would be creating, here's a rough, it would look something like this, so it's moved like 2 up. So that would be our first transformation that we can describe for that. Our second one could be that, what else do we see here? So we see our a, our x, and our y. So, you see a -3. What would that be? So now we know when you translate, so if it's a -3, you know you have to move it to the right. And if it's a +3, you would move it to the left. So we would say it is a horizontal, because we're going this way. Horizontally translated 3 units to the right. Now, many people ask, why is it 3 units, not -3 units? Because we know when we have our equation, when we put it in our vertex, whatever this is, it changes. So it would become a +3 and -4. So we translated. And in transformations, if it's a -3, you move to the right, and if it's a +3, you would move to the left, because that's just basically how graphs are. So say this was a -3. So this pencil is a -3. You would move it to the right, because you're moving this way. And if it was a +3, you would move it this way. That's just how it works. Now, let's see what our third one could be. So what else do we see? Oh, look, we see a -4. Now, again, same thing. If it was a -4, we would move it down. If it was a +4, we would move it up. So we could say it is a vertical translated, my handwriting is so bad, down by 4 units. Now again, 4 units, and it's vertical because y-axis is that, and that's basically how you would describe a transformation. Now, let's see if we can do another one. Okay. You can also